Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of Views from the Beard Bridge, your second favorite podcast about, that other one you listen to about the Philadelphia Union. And I'm here tonight, kind of a special show with Danny from Battered Herons, podcast about the team that Philadelphia's playing this weekend, Miami. If you didn't know, we are playing Miami this weekend. Danny, how are you, man?
I'm living the dream, man. Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to the game. I feel like I haven't gone to the stadium in a while. It's gonna be fun getting to catch the Herons in person.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Are you making the trip
Uh,
down?
I'm not making the trip down. I wish I was, but staying up here in the colder weather. But that's okay. We're getting spring's coming. It'll be nice when the weather's a little warmer.
Yeah, one day.
Uh, I had a friend down in Florida this week, and she's bragging on all the warm weather down there. I was like, come on, man.
Yes, it's
I
like
gotta.
85
I'm
today.
still up here in the 50 degrees weather.
That's cold.
Cool. So really, like I said, the point of these shows is just to get a preview on what's happening with Miami, kind of what's going on with the teams around the league, and so yeah, obviously you guys have had some changes since last year, some players out, players in. Yeah, tell us how you're feeling about first 3, 4, 5 games. I don't know how many you guys have played with Leagues Cup and everything, but how are you guys feeling?
We are, if you count Champions Cup, we are 8 games in. We are 7 wins, 1 draw, no losses. This team this year is deeper than last year's team by a mile. Our biggest weakness was in the back line last year, and we felt like we kind of shored that up. Um, we added depth on the wings with 2 young players that are so far balling. So Telasco Segovia and Tadeo Allende on the left and right wings. This year, Mascherano came in. He's playing a 4-2-3-1, where instead of having Messi kind of playing that right wing role and just letting him float into the center of the pitch, he's playing like a true 10, where he's kind of just commanding the middle of the pitch, which has worked out great. And Luis Suarez obviously ahead of him, and everything's been looking just really, really good. It's kind of scary because the whole thing for us is battered Herons. I'm a battered fan, all that other stuff. It's kind of scary how optimistic I feel about this Inter Miami team because the depth and how good they've looked so far is kind of scary. And we still have 2 players from South America coming in the next couple of weeks. We have Baltasar Rodriguez, which is coming in, which everybody's talking so highly of him. I don't even know where he fits on this roster. And we have Alan Obando, which is just signed with Atletico Madrid, but he's being loaned out to us for the rest of the year. And he's going to be the backup to Luis Suarez at the striker role. So we've been looking good. Defensively, we've been looking much better than last year. And with the depth, I think that this team is going to be really, really tough for MLS teams to beat.
Yeah. I think a lot of fans on our show would know my other team is Brighton and Hove Albion, and obviously Diego Gomez came into the team last year, and as a Brighton fan, I'm very thankful for all the development that you did on Diego Gomez and the way he's playing in the Premier League so far. But yeah,
And he
it's
had
good
a
to
slow
it's good to
start too
hear.
because he didn't play right away. It took him a little while to get onto the pitch.
Yeah, and Brighton has some midfielders that have a lot of experience and all that kind of stuff. So he probably needed that time to integrate in and all that kind of stuff. But he's playing well now, so very thankful for that. Um, so yeah, so I think that the depth in the back line was obviously probably some of the issue last year. Even though I mean you guys were great last year, I think it's interesting. I don't probably still feel a little bit not optimistic about this season, though the Union have had a good start to this season so far. Um, but how do you see, like, obviously the Union have played a 4-2-3-1 since the beginning of this season. That is always kind of floats in between a 4-2-3-1 and a 4-2-2-2. Um, how do you think the teams match up this year? And obviously, we played a couple games last year, but I don't think Messi was a part of either of those games. So how do you feel
Can't
like the
remember.
teams match up this year?
Well, I love the Philly attack. I thought last year they had an underrated attack. They were a top 5 scoring team in the entire league. I don't know why people didn't expect them to do even better this year. They got Tyberibo, which is the leading Golden Boot at the moment. And Yanni, he's been balling. He looked great this past weekend. Philly's attack. This is what we've been waiting for. As Inter Miami fans, we beat up on KC, which sucks. We beat up on the Cavalier, which yes, they're the Jamaican champs, but I mean we didn't expect them to do too much. Um, NYCFC, their attack isn't great. Houston, their attack isn't great. Atlanta was supposed to be great, but they've been underwhelming. And then Charlotte, all they do is counter. So this is the first time in our 8 game. This is gonna be the 9th game that we finally play what I feel is a good attack. So I'm having a hard time predicting what we're gonna see. I feel like I'm gonna have a lot better perspective on what this team is looking like after this weekend. Our defense has looked better. It's been keeping its form. It's been holding its line. It's been forcing teams offside quite a bit because they've been doing a good job of holding that line. Um, but like I said, like I know St. Louis kind of bunkers down, but man, Philly was on top of them this past weekend. So I'm really curious to see how this plays out. I mean, I'm glad that Philly's going to be at full strength now that I believe they're going to be at full strength at least. So I don't know how they're gonna match up because I feel like I haven't seen the defense really challenged yet, and I think that Philly's gonna bring us that first challenge, and it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. I do think that even without Messi, because Messi won't be playing, Inter Miami, when they have Telasco Segovia, which was the Diego Gomez replacement, he's been doing a great job filling in for Messi. He's a playmaker. He can play that 10 role. And then Fafa Picault kind of slides into that starting position out of the left wing. I think their attack will be good. Luis Suarez, 8 goals in 8 games, 8 goal contributions. He's been playing really well also. It's just going to be an interesting game overall. But I'm having a hard time predicting just because I feel like this is going to be the first test that Miami's going to face as far as their defensive standing goes.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. I think because we, as Union fans, I think we watched the first 2 games against Orlando, and I'm blanking on who the other game was against. The first 2 games of the season were kind of open affairs, kind of back and forth, kind of played into Philly's hands a little bit with kind of a lot of open play. and and then we went into Nashville, and I thought like things we kind of talked about that being the first kind of test of a team that had a solid defense, and how do you play against a team with a defense. And obviously Philly did not do well playing that game, and then we kind of went into St. Louis thinking, hey, we're missing 7 players, 8 if you count Macania with the red card. We're missing 8 players, 6 of which have started the first 2 games. And I don't think anybody expected anything out of that game. And so the fact that we came out of that game with 3 points was a huge lift, I think, and a good start there. And so it'll be interesting kind of going back to another team who has an attack, who's willing to get up the field and on the ball. And I think Philly can attack either way. You want to bunker against us, we'll sit on top of you and make it hard for you. If you want to attack, we'll spring a counter real quick and go the other direction. And so I think it'll be, but I think we're better when the game is open. And so it'll be interesting to see how the 2 teams match up if the game becomes an end-to-end sort of affair. I think it could end up being a high scoring game. Um,
For an entertaining game for sure.
yeah, it's definitely going to be an entertaining game for sure. Anything else that you think we should know about Miami differences this year, or ways?
Well, let's see. We have a new player, Maxi Falcone, which probably has the best hair in the league. He'll stand out on TV when you watch him. He has been probably, he's only played like 3 games, but defensively, you could tell he's going to be the best player on our back line. If you guys are out on the counter, he will be that man that goes ahead and stops those counterattacks. He's been doing great. Yannick Bright, I don't know how familiar you guys are with him, but if he isn't already being discussed as one of the best center defensive midfielders, he will be soon. We have this player Redondo, his father Federico, probably one of the best center defensive midfielders in history. He's played for Real Madrid. Everybody assumed Redondo's going to play next to Busquets. He'll be in Europe next year. Yannick Bright, drafted from the Super Draft, took his starting position. Like he just took it. Redondo is now on the bench. Yannick Bright is an absolute baller. He is a menace on. He's intercepting passes. He's everywhere. He's everywhere, and I think that he is somebody that you should definitely look out for. because he will be the one marking Gazdag consistently down the middle of the pitch, and you're gonna notice Yannick Bright quite a bit. But yeah, I mean, something that maybe you want to keep an eye on, the fact that we got 3 red cards in our first 3 games. We got to be very careful because we are constantly shooting ourselves in the foot when it comes to fouling at inappropriate times. But Messi missing is going to be interesting how we do it in the attack and more than anything defensively, like we were saying earlier, because your attack has been so good. It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. Yeah.
Um,
Well, we don't have a song like the
uh,
Dupe song, unfortunately. We need a song because my co-host Chris loves the Dupe song.
you
He's
guys need
dying
a
to go
song.
catch a game out in Philly.
You guys
We don't
need a
have one.
song.
We
That's
just
for
have a
sure.
Messi chant.
You need a song. That's for sure.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
that dupe song. That dupe song is in FIFA because the German team uses it, and so it's fun that it's actually there and you can actually use it on FIFA too.
What is it?
Yeah, yeah.
Very cool.
I forget who
So
uses
an
it.
ultimate team gets to
Hoffenheim,
use it?
Hoffenheim, maybe. Yeah. So I generally, if I can find it, I generally use it in Ultimate Team. Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah. Hey, so I wanted to ask about. I think one of the interesting discussions, kind of around the league so far this season, has been, and it probably stems from the game against Houston that you guys had because they uh, ended up giving refunds because Messi was not available, and there was a lot of interesting discussion around that. I don't think I like that move from Houston, but how do you guys feel about it when you see teams doing things like that? Or as a Miami fan, kind of how do you feel about that way of doing things when you go play these other teams?
I mean, obviously, I don't. I get it. I get it because what I would assume is if I'm Houston, I'm hoping that this brings the casual fan that has never made it out to an MLS game. They might be a soccer fan from another league across the EPL, a league or whatever, and they're giving the MLS a chance. So that this is their chance to kind of hook them in. And now because they lost that opportunity, they're because I don't know if they give them a refund, but I know 100% they give them free tickets to a future game because this is their chance to kind of hook them in. So I get it to an extent because that's the hope, right? Everybody's like, oh, Messi's coming, it's going to help the league grow. Now, how does it help the league grow? It brings that casual fan that wouldn't have given the MLS a chance uh, otherwise, and they're giving them a chance. And I mean, I get it. I, I wouldn't give a refund. I also don't think that they should overcharge because I think that that's where the real story is. Like, why are you overcharging to begin with? But I get it. I know that there's a few and far between chances to benefit from Messi when you're not Miami, and you try to take advantage of that to try to grow your fan base. So I get it. I mean, I think it's a little weird when I see Houston Dynamo jerseys with Messi 10 on them back, but I understand. The Chicago did it last year also. They gave away tickets to a future game, and maybe that worked for a handful of people, and you just got a handful of new fans. I get it. I get it. I'm not a fan of it per se, but I understand.
Yeah, that's
What do
interesting.
you think
I
about it?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it because I think like even when even when Messi was at Barcelona, there's always a chance that he doesn't play. Like there's always a chance that they choose that game to rest him. He can't play 50 games a season, especially his. Maybe at 27 he could have, but at whatever he is now, he can't be playing 50 games a season. And so there's always a chance that the game that they come to they can't always, you guys can't always rest Messi at home, and so it's like there's gonna be times where he's gonna be rested, and so I think I'm in a similar vein as you. Like, I don't like that teams are overcharging. Like, just sell your tickets at the normal prices. Like, you don't need to, upcharge them $50 because Messi might be playing, because that sets you up for these kind of frustrated fans who are frustrated
Scenarios,
that
right?
that now they're not going to get to see Messi. If you charge the regular price, then if Messi doesn't play, they sell their tickets or they don't come to the game or whatever, and they choose to waste the money. It's not a
That's
then
it.
it's not a problem, and you don't have to give these fans uh the 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 refund or the free tickets or whatever it is. And
Right.
so I'm not a huge fan of it because I think like that's just the reality of sports and soccer and injuries and all that kind of stuff, that you don't always get to see the players you want to see because sometimes they're injured, sometimes they're out of town, sometimes they don't get to play. And so it's like, I don't know. I don't like that fans are getting frustrated about that and then getting their teams to do something about it. I'm like, all right, whatever. But on the other side of it too, I remember I bought tickets to the game in Philly right before
The
Messi.
Leagues Cup. Oh,
I don't think it was the League's Cup. It was right before Messi was able to play. The signing had already been announced, but he wasn't able to register yet or whatever. And so it was already announced he wasn't going to play. And those tickets immediately went $20 more expensive or $40 more expensive, on Ticketmaster and all that kind of stuff. And I ended up getting it before it went crazy. I got them like right when the signing got announced. But then I remember looking a couple days later and see these tickets for like $60 more than what they had been, and it had already kind of come out that like, hey, Messi's not going to play because he can't get registered by that. Like he's not even eligible to play in that game.
I
And so I
remember
think
that. I remember that.
it's
People thought that he might show up like on the bench or something, so people were still hoping to go out there.
right, right. And so it was funny, and it was it was a fun game regardless. I didn't buy them necessarily to see Messi. I bought them because I wanted to see the Union play a game, and that was just a night that happened to
Right.
work for me to go out. But it just like it was funny seeing people's frustration about like, oh, I paid $60 more, $50 more for these tickets, and now Messi's not even playing. It's like, yeah, but that was announced that he wasn't going to be playing. Like, he's not
Hmm.
eligible for another 2 weeks, so I don't know what you want.
Yeah,
So,
it's the casual fan that doesn't really understand the system of how things work.
right, right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, based on all that, any predictions for the game this week?
Man, I've had not that hard a time predicting the first 8 games, but this game I'm having a hard time with just because I don't know what our defense is going to look like. Just with the players we have, I feel like we've upgraded at the right back now that Ian Frey's healthy. With Falcon, Toto Aviles, we're solid at center back. Ustari's a sweeper keeper, so even when the teams are on transition, he's not, doesn't hesitate to run out of the box and clear away any danger. Left back Jordi Alba, he's not pushing up as much, and when he does, we kind of play a three-man back line. So I feel like defensively, the tactics that Mascherano has brought on and how disciplined we've looked, I want to say we're going to stand up well against you guys. But I'm cautiously optimistic, especially since Messi's not playing. But because we're a good home team, and I feel like the team has looked solid as is, I'm gonna say 2-1 victory, right? That very very safe prediction, right? 2-1, you win by 1 goal, the other team doesn't get shut out. So I'm gonna go very boring 2-1 safe prediction is Miami at home.
All right. Yeah, I think I'd probably agree in some sense. Like it is hard to go on the road in MLS, and I think like you're going to a tough team. This is kind of our first test against a good, Nashville might be good, but this is kind of our first test against a good team. And so it'll be interesting to see how we respond as well. If I was trying to
Orlando's been looking pretty good.
Orlando's
You
looking
guys you
pretty
guys
good.
beat up on
Yeah.
Orlando.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, because we had a wide open game against them. It was 4-2. It's that's a weird game as well, and we play them the week like we play our second game against them in the sixth game of the season. It's like so weird. So it'll be interesting because we play them
You
right
guys play
after
against them next week again?
next week or the following week. I can't remember if it's next week or two
Wow.
weeks, but
Wow, that's a quick turnaround.
yeah, it's like two times in 6 weeks, and it's not neither one of them is a cup game. So it's
Yeah, it's
in some
weird.
sense that's frustrating for me. It's like I'd rather see Orlando way later in the season, um, but that's fine.
Yeah, and you're right. Yeah, it's you guys we have Miami this week, and then Orlando goes up there next week. Wow,
Yep, yep,
that's interesting. And the other team that you guys beat up on was Cincy,
yeah.
four
Cincy,
to one.
yeah. Cincy's a good team, and they're looking a lot
Mm-hmm.
better. So, but again, that was another wide open kind of end to end affair, and we just happened to put away our chances more than Cincy did. So, yeah, it's going to be an
Yeah.
interesting game. It is going to be a really interesting game. If I was going to be the homer call, I'd say probably 2-2 draw. But I think 2-1 is probably more likely.
If Miami manages to keep you guys at 1 goal or even shut you guys out, Miami's not losing more than 4 games this year. Because without Messi and against a good attack, if we manage to keep you guys like down, that means that we've improved what we were lacking last year, and our attack has gotten better, and we still have reinforcements on the way. This Miami team is gonna be wild this year.
Yeah, you guys are gonna be scary if you can keep us out. It's gonna be
Yeah,
scary.
yeah, yeah. It's gonna be really scary for the league for sure.
All right, Danny, tell us where we can find you if we want to check in on what you guys are doing over at Battered Herons.
So we got Battered Herons. We come on 5 to 6 times a week. This week it's kind of slow because we didn't have a game this past weekend. But 5 to 6 times a week we're on, usually at 9 o'clock at night, most nights. And we also do a Battered MLS fans where we talk MLS, and we go on 3 times a week. We do a recap show. We do a panel. We invite some podcasters from across the league to join us, and then we have a prediction show on Thursday nights. So we were usually talking footy all week long, 9 and 10 o'clock at night, Battered Herons and Battered MLS fans. So if you haven't already, make sure you go on, and if you want to get into Miami or just MLS talk, go ahead and subscribe to those channels.
All right, sounds good. Hey, thanks for joining me tonight, and we'll look forward to the game this
Absolutely.
weekend.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. If you'll catch me, I'm right behind the goal. So when you're watching the TV on the right hand side, I'll be the one talking crap to Blake.
All right, sounds good. All right, have a great rest of your week.
Nah, you too.